There is no way you can buy one of these and not do that. So I'm gonna get through this pretty quick. This is the first edition. The second edition looked completely different. It was white, completely cylindrical, and came with a built-in battery, and that was an epic fail. Such a fail that they actually made the third edition so fast. Now the third edition, although it's pretty great, it's got a detachable remote where you can do all these settings as if your light was up on a light stand. However, you can still control this one via Bluetooth. And in that third edition, that remote is operated by a watch battery. So if it does go flat on set, well, you have another problem. And finally, the third edition also doesn't have a DC input, so you can power this via a wall plug while you're in a studio. And I think that's why the first edition is still the best one you can buy. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. And if you enjoy this video, drop a comment below. I still like to reply to every single comment. So this is the Yongnuo YN360 LED light, wand, light bar, whatever you want to call it. And what makes this, it looks so cool when it's on. Should I leave it on? We'll change it up. And what makes this so cool is that it's completely adjustable. It's an RGB light, as well as you can adjust the temperature of a normal light. And it's insanely bright. So let's do a quick rundown. First off, we have a detachable battery. It takes a Sony NPF battery. Now, if you do a lot of video work or photography or anything like that, you probably have one or two of these lying around. You have an on-off switch over here. You can also adjust the power of the light. And you also have a fine or coarse button, which are either adjusted in decimals of 1 increment or in 10 increments. And you also have a little battery indicator over here. Basically P9 means it's full, and P8765 the battery's getting lower, and P1 it's almost dead. You also have a button that will toggle your temperature from 3200 tungsten or 5500, which would be considered as daylight. So you can make it more white, or you can make it yellow, and if you want, you can mix them both. Now obviously mixing them both adds to the brightness, because you add in X amount of 3200 Kelvin LEDs to 5500 Kelvin LEDs, so ideally you would just want to white balance your camera to kind of match that. Then you have lightsaber mode, if you want to call it that. You have an RGB button over here, which will allow you to adjust blue, green or red. Now when you're on the blue, the RGB turns blue. When you're on the red, it turns red, and green, obviously green. Now you can actually mix all of these, and if I mix all of them up, you'll actually see that the light tends to get closer to a whitish kind of light. Or you could zero all of them and just keep one color. So you can mix this up as it goes. That's purple. That's pretty white. You get the picture. I'm going to play all day. Now, one of the biggest issues that photographers face with LED lights, and I'm specifically saying photographers, as with video, you don't need such a bright light, because you're generally filming with a shutter speed of either 50, 60 or 100 or 120, and as a photographer your shutter speed's generally a lot higher than that, and generally photographers try to keep the ISO a little bit lower. So to give you an idea on how bright it is, I actually have a key light over here which I'm going to switch off. Yeah, it doesn't work via click, sorry. So to give you an idea, this is how dark it is generally when I am filming, and these backlights are pretty much just there for that ambience. If I look at my camera settings, to give you more of an idea, I'm filming at ISO 250 and my shutter speed is 1/100, and my f-stop is currently at f2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this light all to 0, and I'm currently on 5500 Kelvin, and I'm going to adjust it in increments of 10. Keep in mind this is just the one LED. 20, 30, 40. As you can see, this is insanely bright. So this is 40% on just one LED, and I am starting to squint a little bit. It's getting pretty darn bright. So I'll push it all the way up to 100, so you can kind of have an idea. And now I'm going to add the 3200 Kelvin, so we're basically mixing LEDs. However, it is going to get brighter. As you can see, I'm going to point it a bit away from my face and adjust the brightness up. If I point it to the back, you can see it gets pretty darn bright. So yeah, it's insanely bright. Now when it comes to RGB, as you know, RGB LED lights aren't that bright. However, these aren't that bad. So to do the same, so this is set to green full brightness. Now if you've generally filmed with some form of RGB, you'll generally know that it's not meant to overpower and make things insanely green. It's more kind of for an effect. So if I was in the street somewhere, maybe a couple of neon lights on this side and I had this over here, or I literally just put this behind me as kind of a, call it a rim light, it's pretty darn cool. Switch the blue on. So there's the blue. It also has this removable, call it a gel, that's magnetized. Just comes off the back, pops on the front. If you want that more, call it a warmer look. And finally, it's got a quarter screw mount in the bottom. So if you have a light stand with one of those umbrella thingies, you can actually screw this in, angle it over, get one of those nice little lights. That's pretty bright. So firstly, I want to show you some photography things that we've shot using the Yongnuo YN360. And because this light is really, really long, depending on the way that you angle it, you can create soft light. As you know, the bigger the light source, the softer the shadows. So by getting this at a certain angle to someone's face, you'll actually see that the shadows go pretty soft. So firstly, let me show you this. These are a couple of ring shots that we've shot at a few weddings. Now, this is something that we always carry in our camera bag, whether we're doing photos or video. And getting this really, really close to wedding rings gets such a soft light. Now also when it comes to photography, using this as a backlight to kind of, you know, get some super cool colors, you can do a ton. And these were some of the shots that we've actually played around with using the Yongnuo YN360. And then we get to video. Now video, as you know, video is quite a crucial part. Check this out. I have dropped a link in the description below where you can still pick up the Yongnuo YN360 LED, the first version. It's actually direct from the Yongnuo Amazon store, so head out in the description below and pick one of these up. If you're not going to pick one of these up, I presume you probably already own one. Yeah. So wherever you are in the world, have a good day, good evening, good night. One more time.